So people there have been very helpful. We went to a big guest house, and people came and selected the refugees, and so I stayed there for 5 years practically until October 49.
Did you hear any news until that time about your parents? And
I did not see my brother, my mother or father for 5 years during the war.
But any news about them?
Yeah, we had
You knew they was alive.
Yes, we simply we had been lucky in this respect because we had an custom soldier in our house in Westets for 1.5 years or so, and he was from Vienna. So we had his address, and we kept writing to this address from all sides.
So he was your contact?
Our contact, right. And so we knew my mother stayed in Westets. My brother was in the Prince Eugen drafted. My father was then drafted to the border patrol and was he ended up in the Czechoslovakian border to whatever the east border was there. But he, being a farmer, wanted, when the war was over, wanted to go back to his farm and house and so on, that he didn't know what was going on down there. That's another thing. If you haven't experienced that, people come and tell you. And he was at that time 45 years in the height of his life practically, and all of a sudden they come and tell you, take whatever you can carry and go out of your house, and your whole life accomplishments are gone. All right? No one.
He would ask you, do you want or not?
That there was either boom boom when you want to stay or not go, but whatever. This is human right violation to the greatest extent, and most people don't understand it. You can see what happens now.
Do you think that people who did not experience it could understand how terrible it is?
No way. This, for me, that's a fact, right? Regardless how clever they talk and so on. Anyway, but then he was caught on the Yugoslavian border.
Your father on the way back?
My father, and then he had the worst 1.5 years of his life, right? When he came finally, was released to Vienna, I have a picture. He looked like what we say in German, bone and skin. And it was funny. He said he may have survived because they had been asked whether somebody knows when melons are ripe. The fellow, some whatever commander, he said, we have this stupid guy here, he cuts the green melons and so, and I need somebody who knows what he's doing, right? And my father said yes, because he had every year melons at home, right? So he was separated from the others and had a little bit better. But then finally he was released. So I did make an apprenticeship of a lathe operator in Karlsruhe for 2.5 years. And when I had been finished, that was in October 49. I didn't even wait for my papers. My sister and I went what was called black from Germany to Austria, past the border. And some few things happened. We had been told as a bus we had to cross then the Russian into the Russian zone also, right? There had been a few critical things, mainly for my sister. And then in Vienna, we took a trolley car from Westbahnhof to the house where my parents and my brother was also there in the meantime. So
What was the year?
49.
49.
49, beginning of November. So we rang the bell. My father came out and asked, "What do you want?"
Did not recognize.
He did not recognize me.
My God.
His name was Eddie and mine too, right? And I was always the little Eddie. Okay. Now I looked down on him. I was head bigger than he, right? But then, of course, when we told him who we were, so that was Vienna. We had been finally reunited, and.
But he was poor, practically without any property.
Yes, correct.
No jobs, no.
He was just a
refugee.
Refugee labor. The people where we had been living in 2 rooms, 5 people. My mother was the first there, and as a maid, cooking and so. And I was told after she was there for 5-6 months, she was called the house philosopher.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is side. She had the intellectual, should I say, side in our family. The father was a farmer. My father worked there. These people had forests in Upper Austria and had a big business selling wood, right? So he was working on this lumberyard, it's called, of course, and as a laborer with some other Viennese. But as it turned out, these other Viennese laborers did a little bit on the side, right? And my father was realized as an honest, straight man. So he was made the foreman there in order to watch that nothing disappears, right? My brother at that time was working as a tailor. He had, when he was 13, 14, rheumatism very bad, so he couldn't work on the fields. He had to make an apprenticeship as a tailor. And when I started as a lathe operator, I was at that time 19 years. I earned a lot more than either my father or my brother, even though I was the youngest one. Then after a year I changed from the little company I started with as a lathe operator and went to Herbiger Ventilwerke, which is a big company. At that time I was, I think, number 71. But 2 years later, I started an evening school, which was started for people who, during the war, got their education interrupted, right? So they could finish again. The condition was that you are an Austrian citizen. I was lucky in this respect. My father just applied for the Austrian citizenship, and I was a minor still, 21 years was